11 o'clock, 20 to 11 on the 11th of July 2025. Hope you've all had a good last 6 months. It's been a while. It's just been a while. I've been busy, but I'm back. Hello. I've tried to start a video so many times, so I'm really hoping that this one will actually be a video that happens. Apologies if you can hear a helicopter in the background. I have the window open because it is about 1,000,000 degrees in Edinburgh right now. I think it's like 25 degrees. About 25 degrees for the last few days. Apparently it's not technically a heat wave. It feels like a heat wave. We really don't have the infrastructure for this type of heat, so it's very hot. So I've turned my fan off to film this section, but it may not be very long because not having my fan on is quite unpleasant. But yes, hello, welcome to this video. As you can see from the title, this is going to be my sock week prep vlog. I have decided this year to participate in the Knitty Natty Sock Week. I was going to say Sock Week 2025, but that is this year, which is running from the 20th to the 27th of July, I want to say. And basically it's just a challenge where you knit a sock in a week, sock week. And I think there's like all sorts of things associated with it, like you can join Zoom calls and play games and be on like a Discord and stuff, which I don't know if you have to be like on Knitty Natty's Patreon to do that, but I'm not doing any of those things. I'm just knitting a sock in a week. And I've picked my yarn, you can kind of see it there, and I've been really brave on holding off. However, I was talking to someone in the shop the other day and they were wearing some Sock Week merch from like a few years ago. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Sock Week for this, like the first time this year, like how was it? And they were telling me about it, and they were saying they were knitting their first sock currently, so that then when they knit their sock during Sock Week, they then have a pair of socks at the end. I thought that was very clever, and also it means I can use my yarn earlier. So my plan is to start my first sock this week. So it's the 11th today, which is Friday. So about like 9 days. I think I'm gonna not cast it on until Sunday, partly because I think I want to get, apologies, knocked the camera. Partly because I think I want to get a like contrast color for the heels and toes, but in order to do that I need to go into the shop, and I could go in now because it is open, but I'm working on Sunday, so I might as well just wait and go then. And I'm also working on lots of other things, so it's okay. And I don't think it'll take me that long to do the toe. I don't think it'll take that long. However, I'm very undecided on the construction that I'm going to do because it's self-striping. So I want to do a shorter heel, but I'm not sure about the fit. So I've been investigating different heel types like nobody's business. The tabs I have open on my computer, I'm like, should I do a German short row? Should I do a shadow heel? Should I do a deep shadow heel? Should I do a fleagle heel? There's so many options. I've got books involved, and I'm just not decided. I just want something that makes the self-striping look good, but I worry that a short row heel will not be sufficient. Do you know what I mean? I also realize it is nearly 5 minutes into this video. This was supposed to be an introduction, but now I'm just talking about things. Let me tell you what I am knitting. Can I tell you what I'm knitting? It's a Shetland hat. It is okay, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna not give you fake information. Hold. So this is the Hansel hat by Gudrun Johnston. I looked it up, confirmed that is the pattern that I'm using. It's in, I believe that the yarn is probably from Woolly Knit, However, I'm not sure. I got it in a yarn swap and it's on a cone. It feels like a lot of the other woolly knit stuff that I've got, and it seems to be seems to be about the right thickness. So my thinking is that's what it is. This is just kind of like a project to have on the go that is garter stitch. However, I do have quite a lot of garter stitch projects, or like stockinette stitch in the round projects at the moment. Part of why I've not been filming as much is that just a lot of my projects are just garter stitch. Like I've been making a half and half wrap, which I will show you later, that is honestly nearly finished, and that is a lot of garter stitch. Like I did the big size, and just like socks, and yeah, so I'm working on this. This is kind of it was my taking out of the house project when it was smaller. Now I'm undecided, but I've wound the yarn off the cone into a little cake, and I made this little like yarn cozy for it, which is also a Knitty Natty pattern, and I'll link it in the bottom. They're actually really great. They're really great. I'm a convert. Like, and actually because I've been wanting to just do kind of like straight stockinette knitting, it's been like actually a great little project to have. So I've made 3 of these recently, one for a pair of socks that I'm making, and one for the half and half wrap, one for a pair of socks I'm making, and one for this. So yeah, that's the haps, literally the haps. So part of my sock week prep was going to be working on a toe-up sock to see how I like the construction. However, I didn't like the construction of the toe-up sock, so I'm just making a normal sock with this yarn, which is, it's quite dark, and you can see it very well. This is, I believe, Pin-Up Sport from Ginger Twist. It was in the free to staff box, but it's definitely a sport weight, and we only have 2. And it's not the other one, so I'm pretty sure that this is Pin-Up Sport, and yeah, in the Hocus Pocus colorway. And I'm making a sock. It's BFL nylon. If it's not BFL nylon, I will correct myself here. There we go. What is there to say about this sock? It's a 3x1 rib. I did the top with a 2.25, the little cuff, and then I've been knitting it on a 2.75. I've never made a sock weight sock, a sport weight sock before, and I don't know if I would necessarily have sought it out. Like, I kind of get the appeal. It's going to be like more of a thicker sort of boot sock vibe, which is nice, but it's really thrown off all of my normal calculations, because I can basically at this point just make a sock. Just like cast on a certain number of stitches, do a stitch pattern, do the gusset, the heel flap, blah, 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 without really consulting anything. But because it was a sport weight sock, like I just didn't know the number of stitches to put on. I basically just didn't know the number of stitches to put on, which was more of an issue going toe up, because it was more difficult to tell when you'd reach the right amount of stitches, like building from the toe, than for just casting on a cuff, knitting a bit, trying it on and seeing if it was the right width. So I ended up doing cuff down. I have also done a lot of heel investigation to see what I wanted to do for this, and I have just ended up doing the same heel flap and gusset that I always do, which is, I don't know how well you can see this, a slip stitch heel with little garter ridges down the side. I think very gentle knitter inspired. I think that's what she used to do, so that's what I do. Presumably still does, but I saw her do it a long time ago. And then just turn the heel and then pick up, and probably just keep the ribbing on the top, not on the bottom. Sometimes I keep it both just because it gives a slightly better fit, but I think in this case it will look neater if I just do it on the top. And the ribbing that I'm doing is like it's like a garter rib, so the like purl stitch that you would usually have in the middle is purl knit, purl knit, purl knit. So it creates a little garter ridge in the middle, and I just think that's fun. It keeps your interest a little bit more. Yeah, so that's that sock, and this is the other yarn cozy that I've made out of leftovers from my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl so long ago, 2 years, 3 years, I can't remember. Anyway, it's leftovers from that. I've now so many projects around me. So today I want to pick up the gusset stitches for this and start those decreases. But first I have actual work that I need to do. So I'm gonna do some typing. Next week I'm doing a summer school, which I'm really excited about. I'm not gonna give too many details because I don't want to give away where I work. But I'm doing a summer school with a theatre programme, and I'm doing the script, so I have to look it over just one last time. I feel I'm so like hesitant to give it away. Like I'm just like, I don't want to be like, you know, when you've been working on something for a while, you don't want to like lock it in and be finished with it. Because what if I missed something? So I'm just going to go through and like read the whole thing aloud and make any changes that I want to make, and then send it off for printing for next week. So I'm going to do that, and then I have a lot of tidying to do. I'll probably get some rows in between. So I will catch you when I catch you. Oh, also today I'm going for a sea swim, and I'll try and film some of that because it's a beautiful day. Yeah. Okay, catch you later. I forgot to press record properly the first time. Hello from later in the day. Me on my bed full of the things that need to get done today. My cat is on my chair, so I'm sitting on the bed, and it's my lunch, and I've just eaten my lunch and watched some Grey's Anatomy, and now I'm watching a Mickey Jo theatre video. If you know, you know. And I successfully turned the heel of my sock. So I ended up doing a Dutch heel, which I've never done before, from this book, which is Folk Socks by Nancy Bush. And this is probably one of my, trying to get it so it's not reflecting, there we go. It's probably one of my oldest like knitting books. As you can see, it's got lots of random paper bits sorted in it. I think I got it, it's got a sticker on the back that says $2. I think I got it from a secondhand bookshop when we were visiting the States, like over probably like 8 or 9 years ago. So I've had it for quite a long time. It's a great resource. Nancy Bush, Queen of the Socks. She's got on the back, also this book is slightly moldy because of, just because it is. It was on a bookshelf that collected some water, but I'm not getting rid of it just because it's got a little bit of not actual mold, but just like the stains left behind. It's clean, it's safe, it's a safe book, it's just a bit dirty. Anyway, there's written all these other books about socks. Knitting vintage socks is one that I think I've seen around quite a lot. And actually I might get them. I watched a really good video recently from someone, I can't remember their name, but I'll try and link it down below. Someone talking through like the knitting books that they have that are actually useful, because I've not bought any new knitting books. I was gonna say I've not bought any new knitting books in a long time. That's not true. I bought some quite recently, but I try not to buy too many because like everything's digital, and I'm like, oh, I don't buy any that are like technique books. They'll be like pattern books or like resource books in terms of like I've got the one that's about all the top-down sweaters, the kind of like Anne Bird like formula kind of, I guess that is technique, but I've not got one that's like, here's lots of different stitches you can use or whatever. But this person was talking about 2 books that they have that they're like, oh, I always go to this, they're pattern designer. If I'm looking for like, oh, I want to use a different cast on for this or a different cast off, or like what are my different increases I can use. And actually I'm like, they might be quite useful or interesting. So that she recommended 2 and I might get them because I feel like I'm kind of quite limited. Like I always do the same cast on. I always do like 1 of 3 cast offs. You know, maybe I'm missing stuff that is out there that could be great. So I might, on the topic of books, I might be buying more. Anyway, this book is a great book. It's got like actual sock patterns in it from different folk traditions, as is the title. Here's some that I think are really beautiful. These are some Shetland socks. I've started making quite a lot of these socks when I was, these are the Estonian socks, when I first got this book. I knit. I think I started knitting quite a few of them, but I never actually finished them because for a long time when I was like a starter knitter, I think at that point I'd probably been knitting for like 10 years because I learned to knit as a child. But when I was like in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I didn't finish a lot of things. Just didn't finish a lot of things. I'd start them and knit them for a while and then be like, oh, I'm not happy with this, and pull it back. And in a lot of ways I'm still like that, but I have started but not finished a lot of these socks, so might be nice to go in and actually make one of the patterns in this book kind of start to end. Here's the other one that I made I'm like so familiar with these because I would have knit like it's not those ones, where's the other ones? Would have knit the what's the, like the calf bit so many times and then like unraveled it and done it again. Oh, here we go. This is the other one, the chalet socks. They've got these like kind of cabley, faux cable technique on the side. And wow, have I made those so many times but never finished them. Like, I just remember this one specific like color changing yarn. I made it over and over. Anyway, really beside the point. Until I've not vlogged for a long time because I'm just rambling on, but that's what we're here for. This book, in it, has at the beginning chapters on, not to give away that it's reflecting so much, like about the history and about the techniques that's needed, and it has like a basic sock pattern, and then it gives you different heels and then different toes to use. So the first 3 are the common heel, the shaped common heel, and the Balbriggan heel, and they all require Kitchener stitching at the bottom. So I don't know if you can see here, not that one, that's the round heels, that is short rows, but these ones all require Kitchener stitching right here, and then you just pick up from the flat side. And I was like, I kind of want to try those as a new heel, but also I don't want to get Kitchener stitching the bottom of my sock and then having another end to weave in and to have to do Kitchener stitch. So I was like, no, passed on those. I've already done the round heel before. That's kind of your most common heel. The next 4 she talks about are the handkerchief or flat iron heel, Dutch heel, band heel, peasant heel. Can't really, I'm trying to like show you but without giving away the book. But the peasant heel is basically an afterthought heel. So I've done that before. The flat iron heel I've also done before. It's kind of a V shape. I'm like, fine. Nothing huge to write home about. Like, well, I wasn't like, gonna do this again. Didn't beat the round heel. But I have not done a Dutch heel or a band heel. Band heel, you needed to do a slightly different heel flap than the one that I did. So, is that true? Oh no, so the thing about the band heel is that there's no gusset shaping, and I was like, I want gusset shaping. So we did the Dutch heel, which basically gives you, I did a really good job showing a new technique in like essentially black yarn, a little flat band. So I guess it's very similar to the band heel, except that now there's gusset shaping and the heel flap's slightly different with the Dutch heel. But it just gives you like a little strip underneath rather than the kind of round of the round heel. It's all very obvious. And I just tried, well, I've not done much, so it's kind of hard to try it on and get like an accurate read, but I really like the shape and I don't dislike it. Like, I don't think it's going to make the sock bad, so interesting to have tried something new. And I will report back when I've made more of the sock, how it is. Yeah, that's all there is to say on that. I had to do the classic try and count how many stitches I started with because I couldn't remember how many I started with once I picked up all my stitches, so that I know kind of what number I'm going back down to. Yeah, this is progress. It's like 2:15. I'm gonna try and get through all of these things. I'm also like, I've taken all of my pens out of the different pots that they were in, partially just to give them a light dusting because they're all sat on my desk, which can like, I've quite a lot of pens and I don't really use them that much because I'm kind of a digital girly now, which is what it is. I use my iPad a lot for like writing for work and stuff, so I don't really use my pens anymore. So they collected a bit of dust. I'm going to dust them and reorganize them into different pots than what they were organized by color. I'm going to reorganize them by type of pen, which I'm hoping might make me use them more. And then I have to deal with all this stuff. I have to put some laundry away here, and then here I have all my swim stuff prepped for going for a swim later. So I'm supposed to be meeting my friend at 5:30. It's 2, so I'm hoping I can get all of this done in the next like 2 hours and then go to the beach a little bit early so I can sit and read my book. I just finished a book and I've not picked a new one yet, so that's also to do. Huge day. And I'm listening to Maintenance Phase. There's a new episode of Maintenance Phase out, so that's my audio of choice. Slash I'm also listening to the 3rd Hunger Games book on audiobook. What's it called? I was gonna say Nightingale, that's not what it's called. Mockingjay. I'm listening to Mockingjay, so one of those two will be keeping me company, and I'll see you shortly. Hello, it is 5:10. And I'm still at the house, so I did not finish everything in time to leave early. However, I will still make it on time, so that is what matters. And I got all the stuff you can't see. Here, I'll show you. Look at how clear that bed is. There's no tasks on the bed. It's completely empty. Oh no. Oh my god. I just found out you can pause videos, so sorry if that was a bit jolty or weird. But yes, I am wearing my swimsuit under this, so I'm ready to go in because it is absolutely roasting. It's really hot. I'm very warm. I've been inside most of the day just shielding from the sun. I went outside to take the bins out and I was like, this is so warm. So I'm armed with my backpack of gear, my sunglasses, and I have a big wide brimmed hat. But I'm not wearing it now because I'm cycling, so I'm gonna wear my helmet, which has a little brim. So I'm gonna fill my water bottle. I'm gonna go to the beach. Bye. Yeah.
Martha came from off the farm, ran right up, jumped in my arms. I said, you're coming home with me today. Martha, you're the sweetest girl, an angel sent down to this world. I love you more than words could ever say. Every day's a new beginning, life is just a game you're winning. Every time you look, an open door. So run right out, chase the sunlight, nothing left to do but do right. Martha, you're the one my heart beats for. Martha, my darling, your name I keep calling. Heartaches forgotten when you lie with me. Down in the holler, in mansion or squalor, Martha, where you are is where I'll be. Evening comes, lay your head down, give your weary legs to rest now. Moon sky, but darling, not for long. I will write a song about you, how I could not live without you. Martha, I will meet you at the dawn. Martha, my darling, your name I keep calling. Heartaches forgotten when you lie with me.
Good morning. It is Saturday the 12th of July. It's like 10:30. I didn't film any more yesterday, obviously, or any more doggy bits. Went for a swim. It was lovely. Got back. I was so hot and so tired. I was like, I took a shower. Ate dinner. Just very boring stuff. Slept okay given how hot it is. It's 26 degrees inside my flat, which is very warm, so apologies if you can hear the fan in the background. It's going in the hallway to try and like keep the whole flat relatively cool, but I don't think that's gonna work. The plan for today is to go to the shops. I need to buy a straw cleaner for my reusable straw, and also for my like SOVT straw for like singing exercises, because next week is going to be a heavy vocal load, so I need to be looking after my voice. I feel like that's something that I really struggle with, in that I don't always warm up properly when I teach, and then at the end of the day I'm like feeling it, you know. So this week, because it's a long week of teaching all day with lots of kids, so plan is to look after my vocal cords as much as possible, but the straw needs a clean, so I'm gonna go get a straw cleaner, and also for my little reusable straws for little drinks, etc. And get a ring binder for the script to put in. I sometimes work digitally, like just use everything on my iPad, but also I think there is a benefit to having like a physical script that you can just kind of like throw the pages about and like easily flip from one thing to another and like put little tabs in and highlight and whatever. So I'm gonna get one of those for the paper version of the script, and get some bits and bobs for lunch, and then come back and probably just chill and read my book and try and stay calm. There's like potentially might go out this evening to get a swim in, but also the swim is nice and cold, but getting there is very warm, and then being on the beach after is very warm because there's like no shade, no shelter, and it's quite busy, which is quite overwhelming. So the pros and cons. What I want is like a nice quiet swim, but there's only really two kind of major beaches in Edinburgh, so they get pretty busy, and any other bodies of water like little rivers and lakes and whatever are probably not great for swimming in, or people don't tend to swim in them, and I'm assuming there's a reason for that. So that's the plan. I'm about to go get my bus. I could walk, but it's gonna be hot on the bus either way. I'm gonna see what it's like when I get outside and make a decision, but I'm not going far, so that's the plan, and I will speak to you when there's something else to speak to you about.
Silver line.
13th of July. It's a Sunday and I have to leave for work in 27 minutes, so I'm just gonna say a quick hello. Yesterday, I didn't film anymore. I went to the shops, I was out in the heat, came back, made some like ice lolly things, made some corn salsa, ate the corn salsa, did a lot of like prep for the summer camp next week, and had dinner, went to bed, did a bit of knitting, made quite a lot of progress on my sock, which is across the room, so I'm not gonna get it. It's just like, it's just more sock of the same, just the foot's a bit longer, so I would hope to maybe finish it so I could show you the finished sock, but alas, it's not finished. I might try and finish it before I cast on the toe for my my pre-sock week sock, if that makes sense, tonight, but who knows if we'll have time. The shop's only open till 4 on a Sunday, so actually quite a lot of time in the evening. I thought I would show you my chosen sock week yarn. I have been wanting to do a self-striping sock just for ages. I just think they're really fun, but I've also been trying to use up what I have, and I don't have any self-striping, but I thought for sock week I'd make an exception and buy something new. So this is from Trailing Clouds, which is not a company that I knew. I just found them on Etsy. I just searched self-striping sock yarn on Etsy and this came up, and the colorway is called Mind the Gap, if you can see, and it's all the different like London Tube lines. I think, is it all of them? I think it's like the classic 12? Is it 12 colours? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, which is 12 colours. So it's quite a lot going on. This is what it will kind of end up looking like. I think I want to get a contrast for the toe, the heel and the cuff. Unsure what I want that contrast to be. My original thought was to maybe make it look like the logo and do kind of like cream or white with like red and blue stripes to make it look like the logo, which is red, blue and on a white background. But that maybe actually would be a bit busy. Like maybe that's like a separate pair of socks to do kind of like a navy bright red situation. So I'm actually not sure. I'm just gonna take it to the shop and then just hold it up against things. It's a Blueface Leicester nylon blend, and it feels quite similar to the West Yorkshire Spinners like signature 4-ply, and the color saturation is quite similar. So I'm thinking that I'll probably get something from that range. We've got like these tiny little baby alpaca nylon sock ones that I really wanted to get, but then I was like, that would actually just be really silly because you'd have like a fluffy toe and then the body of the sock would not be fluffy. So those are for another time. But for today, I'm gonna do this. I also, yesterday while I was out, bought a tiny fan, which I'm so excited for. One of my colleagues at the shop had this exact fan and it like stands up and I can put it on the desk and like, or I can just walk around with it because I'm a warm gal, and it's not as hot as it was yesterday. It's definitely not as sunny, but it's still very like humid. It's just kind of pleasant. Not gonna lie, not a great time. So yeah, I now have 20 minutes to get ready, so I'm gonna get ready for work. I potentially got cut off there by my timer going off to tell me to start getting ready to leave. So if I do not finish off, I was saying I now need to go to work, and I will chat to you later. is later in the day. I have a little bit of Madeline in my fur. It is 5:30. I'm home from work and it was a good day, pretty busy. Did some sorting, which you have seen, customer stuff, hung out, etc. Also, importantly, bought some yarn. So I took this to the shop to see if there was a colour that I liked to go with it, which also you will have seen. However, what you won't have seen is that I bought them all because the white is looking extremely bright, just shining like a little angel. It's more like this sort of colour. It's kind of like off-white creamy. I just couldn't decide, and part of me was thinking to do like a little colour work moment at the top, like little stripes, as kind of like a nod to the underground sign. Am I over conceptualizing this pair of socks? Maybe, but we have fun. Also, they're just, I want to say the colors are really nice together, but I feel like there's so many flags that these colors that it's kind of obvious that they go together, but I like them. I think it could be a cute color work moment, something a bit sailory later for like another pair of socks or for something else. So because I've been using up, this is too bright to look at, used up almost all of my fingering weight yarn that I have. Like I think I have maybe 2 skeins left of like stash fingering weight yarn, and it doesn't have nylon in it, so it's not appropriate for socks. So I've got a little bit of other fingering weight yarn, but it is assigned to a project. It's like about to go in because my half and half blanket, which I've not shown you yet, is scrappy. It's full scrappy. So I've used up a lot, so I don't have anything to like play around with. That's why I'm justifying these. So I'm gonna, I think, get some dinner, have a play around, wind this up as well. I feel like that might help me make my decision. Maybe I'll do a swatch. This, if I was just gonna be doing one color, I think I would go with either the blue or the red. I think just with the cream on its own doesn't look right. There's just something off about it. Anyway, so I'm gonna wind this up. I'm gonna have a play. I'm gonna eat my dinner, and I'm gonna chat to you. Chat to you when I chat to you. Goodbye from me and all this yarn. Resting on some washing up that's drying. It's Monday the 14th, and so my camp starts today, which is exciting, and probably means I won't have much time to film, so that's what's gonna happen. It's 6:30 and I want to leave at like 7, so I'm just making my little like special chai drink that I've been making for the last like week, so I thought I would tell you about it. It's basically like an iced chai latte because this is what I ordered from places, but I was like, I can't be going about ordering this all the time. Also, it's nice to be able to make it at home. So I have this, which is rainbow chai, which unfortunately is from Australia, so it was a present. You could get kind of any loose leaf chai tea or in a bag, it doesn't really matter, just some chai tea. And then I've just been steeping it at like a really concentrated level, so like maybe 3 tablespoons to like kind of, I really don't do measurements. I've got my teapot, I fill it up to about here with maybe 3 tablespoons of, maybe only 2 tablespoons, 2 heat tablespoons of this. I kind of just pour it in until it seems about right, and then I leave it for basically as long as possible. I'll probably only be leaving this for like 20 minutes. And then I get a little jar. Let me demonstrate to you. These are all in the dishwasher. A little jar with a little lid, and put ice in the jar, and put the lid on the jar, pour in some of the stuff. Ideally, it's been in the fridge, so it's not like hot liquid going on the ice. But I don't have time for that this morning, so I just pour it through like a wee tea strainer, which I have somewhere. Tea strainer. Pour it through this into like a bottle so I can keep it all. Add some brown sugar. It's important. Put it in here with the ice. Shake, 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 shake. Like I'm making myself a little breakfast cocktail. And then I pour that into the cup that I want to drink it out of, or I just drink it out of here because today I'll be taking it in a little travel cup. And then I add, if I was in America, I would add creamer, but I'm not, we don't have that here. So I'm just adding whole milk and cream because just cream on its own is a bit much. But just whole milk just doesn't feel, you know, luxurious or fun enough. So add a little bit of both and then taste it. If it's not chai enough, put more chai syrup in it. That's what I'm making. Yeah, I need to make that. I need to finish packing my bag. I need to pack the piano in the car, which is a real faff because I have a really small car and the piano is big, but it does fit. I just need to like really put this, like really adjust all the seats. So that's a task. Just make sure that I've not forgotten anything important. That's crack. I'll speak to you. I don't know why that took me so long to take in. Had a good day. Busy. I was supposed to be going out this evening, but I was just absolutely hit a wall, which is fair enough. A lot going on. So I'm home working on my sock. I did decide to go for the blue toe, just straight blue. I don't know if I said already that the contrast colours that I had were West Yorkshire Spinner's signature 4-ply. So that's what's here on the little toe. And then I've got my Mind the Gap self-striping on the top. Obviously always a little bit slightly annoying when the first stripe is not as long as the others, but it's fine. It's handmade for a reason. Also, it is a different day, I promise. This is just my most comfortable t-shirt at the moment, so I'm just wearing it all the time. Anyway, I cast on. I've been following the Warm Feet for Everyone pattern, I'm pretty sure is what it's called, which looks pretty good. Someone knit it. One of the like pictures was someone who'd knit self-striping with like a blue toe and a blue heel and a blue cuff, so I feel like I've got a model of like where to put the different colors. So I was like, great, this looks great. And it's got like a kind of not just like a fully short row heel. It's got a little bit of a gusset, so I think it's gonna be good. I've got high hopes. However, I think I said this, you know what? I said this in a video that I actually never published. So I am working on my sock fit at the moment. And part of that is that when I make stockinette socks, they're almost always loose, just full stop, but especially around the foot. I tend to make like a 64 stitch sock, which is usually fine on like the calf, but it's just really loose around the foot. So what I'm trying to do is do like a smaller size for the foot and like a larger size for the calf. So I knit the size 2 for the foot for this, which put me at 60 stitches around, and I've been trying it on and I think maybe it's still a little bit too big. So I think I might rip back to where I made the last increase on the toe and just knit straight, and then I'll have 56 stitches, which feels like maybe that's like an 8 stitch difference, and I'll do 64 for the cuff, which I think, because it'll be about that much, I think that will be enough. So I'll be taking 4 stitches away from what I've currently got, but then it'll then be an 8 stitch difference between this and the cuff, ideally. So I think I'm gonna rip it back. So day 1 of pre-sock week, and we're already ripping back. I also spliced the yarns, so they are stuck together now. So I will just be getting maybe like a slightly longer toe color because the rounds will be shorter, but like literally ever so slightly. So maybe that's fine. That's totally fine. I also knit the toe on 2mm needles, and I'm knitting the rest on 2.25. So I'm gonna find my 2mm needles, which obviously are over here on top of my swim shoes. Naturally. Is that where everyone keeps their needles? These are my new needles that I got from Tribe Yarns. I won't say Tribe Yarns, who's based in Fife, I'm pretty sure, somewhere in Scotland, and does online delivery. Used to have an in-person shop in Richmond, but now has an online shop. You can also, I think, collect. If I'm ever super desperate, I can collect, and they do Chandra needles, which are my needle of choice. But I had not invested in the 32-inch like sock size needles, which are my preferred needle for knitting socks. You can tell it's been a long day. Every word is a conscious effort. So yeah, I need to put these ones to pick up the stitches and then keep on knitting. Thursday, the 24th of July, and I'm here to give you a little wrap up of sock week so far, and the sock week prep, and a few other things that I've just not been able to mention in this video. So the first thing is what I'm wearing. This is my second Janni jumper. I've already made one. Janni jumper by Orlane Sucche, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself here, as per. I made my first one in West Yorkshire Spinners fleece in Jacob, and it's very rustic. I thought it would maybe be too rustic to wear next to my skin, but I've been wearing it all the time and it's great. And so I made another one, and this time I made it with stripes. I also went the size down. The first one that I made was a size 4, which was like very oversized, which I really liked, but I just wanted to see what the size 3 would be like. And the size 3 still gives me like quite a bit of positive ease, but I think having made
both, if I were to make a third one, which I might do because I really like the pattern, I would make the size 4 again, because I think I prefer that like very oversized rather than just like slightly roomy jumper style. But I still really like this. I've been wearing it a lot. The kind of stripe colours that I have been going really well with a lot of my summer wardrobe, so I've been enjoying that. This is knit in Appledore Aran, which is a yarn by John Arbin. It's made of, got the information down here. It is composed of 40% Devon close wool, 40% Romney, and 20% Exmoor Blueface fibres, and it's lovely. It's very rustic. I would say this one is maybe even more rustic than the Jacobs in terms of like next to skin comfortability, comfort. So just something to be aware of if you're wanting to knit with this. So the colours that I used for this are Golden Knob and Tom Putt. Very, I think, lovely together. This one really reminds me of Odd Midod, which is one of my favourite colours of theirs in the sock base and in the Exmoor sock that they do, so which I used for my Marit cardigan. So yeah, enjoy this very much. I put it on so that I would remember to talk about it, and it's quite warm, but I'm gonna keep it on for the remainder of the video, which will help me not talk for too long. So socks, you will have seen in one of the b-roll clips that I finished my sport weight sock. This is just a kind of self-drafted, I think it ended up being a 52 stitch sock with a 3x1 rib cuff and then a 3x1 rib all the way down the leg, but with like garter rows in the, like, it's, there you go, you can see it's a kind of garter rib, and then your classic heel flap and gusset. Did a Dutch heel, and I did like a round toe. So I finished one. Then if we're going in order of things that I did, I completed my first sock week sock, or my pre-sock week sock. So this is done. I can't remember where I was when I last checked in with you. I think maybe only here. What did I do? Who's to say? I'm using the Warmest Feet for All, something like that pattern, which I'll link down below. Great, really enjoyed it. It's a free pattern, it's toe up, it fits really well. I knit the smallest size, and I think I'd said that I was gonna increase a little bit in the leg, and I did do 2 calf increases kind of at this point, but I didn't need to do any here. It fits really well. And the calf increases are written into the pattern, so like I didn't even need to think about it, which was great. So love that, so much so that I've already completed the second one. So this is my first official finished sock of sock week. It's Thursday, so the potential to get a second finished sock is not impossible. Now, to be like officially considered for the prizes for sock week, you need to be knitting a like fingering weight sock, which this one is. However, so 2 socks completed. However, I think I don't care about that too much. So what I'm gonna do is finish this pair. So I've been knitting on the second, my hair keeps getting caught in my earring, the second of my sport weight sock. So I'm about here. I started this last night, so I think it will be doable to finish it by Sunday. I have slightly lofty goals of finishing it today because I have the day off and it's only 3:30, but I feel like that's unlikely, but maybe tomorrow would be nice because, well, I'm going all around the place. It would be nice to finish this. I will come to the because in a second, but first of all, I just wanted to show you my leftover yarn from these socks. So this is the Mind the Gap colorway by See Below. And I've got like 60 grams left, so easily we'll make another pair of socks, especially if I do contrast heel toe cuffs again. So in my future is another pair of these socks, which is good to know. One more project that is on the go that I'm going to show you, that I keep hinting at over this whole video, and then one more upcoming project, and then I'm closing this video, because at this point I think it's approaching an hour, which is a lot of content. So here we are. Half and half blanket. This is the half and half wrap. It's patterned by Purl Soho. I've made one before, just in 2 colours. I used I think JC Rennie Super Soft to make it. It has not held up super well. It's got quite a lot of holes, which I think is partially because of moths, but also just because the yarn is quite, I mean, it's super soft, but I think it is not super strong. So that's been relegated to a cat blanket basically, which is fine. I don't wear it as a shawl anymore. But I just wanted to make another one. I thought this would maybe be as a shawl, but I actually think it might end up being more of a nap blanket, because while I have tried to do some sort of theming in that, oh my goodness, it's so hard to show. The first triangle is scraps of greens and blues, and the second half is scraps of orange, like reddy pinks. It's got quite a lot going on, so I don't know how well it will go with wearing as an accessory, but who's to say. So I've been knitting this with my kind of fingering weight scraps that I have. So this is actually the Odd Medod that I was talking about, the Exmoor sock, and these ones are also all Exmoor sock that are left over from my Marit cardigan. This is some Shetland yarn. Up here we've got some more Shetland yarn, and also some Mondim fingering weight, and this is some like blue that's left over. It's the same scraps that I used for this. We've got some Pia Pardo leftovers from my like shifty jumper, and then on the other side I've got, what have I got? That bottom one is Mash and Mayhem 4-ply hand dyed from work. This is more Pia Pardo. This is a singles base that I used for, what's it called? That I used for the Mystery Knit Along 2 years ago. And then the rest of them are hand dyed Shetland wool, which is a bit thicker than all the rest. So I'm getting like a little bit of a weird bunching kind of along this side, just because this is like a jumper weight, so it's a little bit thicker. And I thought about ripping it back and using something else, but actually it's just gonna be a scrappy blanket that I will use for being cozy, so it doesn't really matter. But these are hand dyed by Midwinter yarns. It was a set of 4, so I've got, I think maybe here I've got yeah, the other 2 shades. So I think they were all like, it was different base shades that were natural sheep shades, and then they were all dyed together in the same pot. So they're like a kind of gradient. This is 2, so this is 1 and then 2, and then you've got the 3rd one and the 4th one here. So I think by that point I'll be almost done, and then I have a few more scraps that I can use if I want them, that are kind of in that colour palette sort of thing. This is actually the JC Rennie Super Soft that I used for the first one, so that would be maybe a nice moment of completion if that makes it into this one. So this has just been like, just whenever I need something to cozy to knit on has been this. So, and I also have another little yarn cozy for the yarn that's there. So last thing that I want to talk about is that I bought some yarn for a project that I would like to start, but I'm not going to let myself start until I finish the sock. So I prepare for some crinkly noises. I'll try and be quick with the crinkly noises. This is the yarn that I want to knit with. So this is Kremke Reborn Aran. It's green. It's just, has it got a shade name? It's in color 11. And it's just this beautiful like emerald. It's got flecks of kind of yellow, orange, a little bit of purple in there. I just think it's stunning. And I've been eyeing it up for ages, and I just thought now is the time. So I have 6 skeins of this. It's an Aran weight. I'm hoping 6 is enough. If I need to get more, I can always get another one. And my plan is to knit the Braids of Grass jumper by Ailbíona McLochlainn. I've been wanting to make more of her patterns, and this colour is almost exactly the same colour as one of the samples for the Braids of Grass jumper, and it was on my queue, and I just thought it goes well together, and it's an Aran weight pattern. So that is going to be my next cast on, but I'm going to finish the sock first. So I'm hoping in the next few days this will happen. That's my hope. So yeah, I'm going to go and get knitting on this and get editing on this, and I will hopefully see you sooner than 6 months, but who's to say? So thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you stayed till the end, if you have anything to say. Subscribe if you want to see more, etc, etc, etc. And I will see you soon, later.